Welcome into WagerTalk TV. I am Drew Martin, joined by Bryan Leonard and Teddy Covers from WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, talking something, my favorite bet of the Super Bowl props, guys. Bryan, start off with you, man. You want to lead us off here with the prop you're looking at?
Yeah, let's start off with how I usually take a look at props. A lot of people base it on what they like in the game, and they play it out that way. Basically, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find something that has some value. I know for years we've talked about no safety, no overtime, that kind of thing. I found an interesting one this year. It's, will a team score a touchdown on fourth down?
Okay.
Now, when you take, and the line is minus 500, which I thought was pretty cheap. So you're laying 5-1 on this. So you're laying a minus number. But when you take a look at the props on will a team get a first down, they're basically a pick 'em either way. Each team has a pick 'em either way. And now they're expected to score a touchdown on fourth down. To me, the only way they're going to do that is if chances are if they're at the 1 yard line in a game where the three's not going to help them late in the game, they're going to go for the touchdown for the four or score the touchdown. Other than that, it's hard for me to understand how they're going to do it on fourth down. So I thought, 1 out of 5 chance, how many times do you see somebody score a touchdown on fourth down? So that's one of the ones I did. I prefer laying the minus over the plus. Everybody likes to have a lot of pluses in their column because they want to hit the jackpot, sort of like playing the slot machines. I want something where there's value in the long run. Hey, I can lose it. There are 3 out of 4 years the safety hit in the Super Bowl, but if you look at it over every football game in the NFL for years and years, it's a good bet. And that was one of the two that I looked at.
Okay, so minus 500 not to score a touchdown on fourth down. Good one, Bryan. And Teddy, what about you? What's one you're looking at?
Well, first I want to talk Bryan's concept, where the average recreational bettors are constantly looking for plus prices. They want to bet a little to win a lot, and the bookmakers know this very well. So you'll find some very attractive plus price options in the Super Bowl for recreational players, and most of the sharp bettors that I know will get involved laying the minuses, and laying 3-1 and 4-1 and 5-1, where you're not getting a huge return and you're risking a bunch, but you still have the odds very much in your favor. I get nervous with some of those. I do.
If it gets too high, me too.
The no safeties, the no OTs, I don't bet those. And I know that, Bryan, you bet those. You bet those every year.
I bet, this is before they moved the extra points back, I bet will there be a missed extra point at no minus 1,600. So 16-1, and it happened to be a high-scoring touchdown, or high-scoring Super Bowl. They're scoring touchdowns like crazy. I go, hey!
But minus 1,600.
Minus 1,600 on something
you won your
that was
dollar.
worth a lot more.
Yeah, exactly. So to get to a prop that I like, okay, the total in this game is really complicated. All right, both offenses are poised to move the football. At least one of the two teams is poised to go on these long, time-consuming drives. This is not going to be a game where I see both teams having 14 possessions, 15 possessions, 13 possessions even. I see it as a relatively low possession game, but I trust both offenses to move the football. So what are we looking at? Total punts under 7.5, the prevailing number that I found. I laid minus 120 with this prop. And look, Wisnowski and Colquitt over the course of the season, 100 punts between them. That's averaged about 6.25 a game. Exactly 6.25 a game.
Interesting. Okay.
This is a way to get at the over without worrying about San Fran controlling clock, like they may well be looking to do in this ball game. So instead of betting over 54.5, I'll bet under 7.5 punts. That makes sense to me.
And Teddy, just to come back at you, you did mention the name Colquitt, who is a famous name as a punter. I guess that scares me a little bit just because if it came down to should they punt, should they not. You got a good punter in Colquitt. Did you notice anything in your handicap of how likely each team is to go for it on fourth down?
Sure, and it's a scenario like Bryan was talking about in which both teams can and do go for it on fourth down, but not game in, game out. And I wouldn't be shocked at all to see a fourth down try or 2 or 3 in this ball game.
Which helps you.
In a game where both teams aren't convinced they can stop their opponent, the fourth down try helps me a lot.
Absolutely. And Bryan, okay, what about you? Another
the second thing I want to look at is first downs by Kansas City over 22.5. It's actually a plus number, plus 110. The reason why I like the first downs for Kansas City, take a look at the San Francisco defense. San Francisco's defense is excellent on third down. Actually, Kansas City's defense is excellent on third down. That's because they have these long, third and long for both teams, and they can both rush the quarterback. San Francisco, that's where you take a look where San Francisco sacks are. They're virtually number one in third down, and in first and second down, they're mediocre. So the way I look for this game to play out is similar to last game with Kansas City. They came out throwing early in the count. So they get first and second down, pass over the middle 6 yards, pass over the middle 5 yards, 8 yards. So San Francisco is not one of these teams that likes to give up long touchdowns. They're a team that keeps everything in front of them. And so there'd be more of a situation where Kansas City, boom, 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 as they go down the field. They may have 6, 7 first downs on a drive that scores a touchdown, as opposed to in the past where they throw that big pass over the middle, boom, boom, boom. And you talked about San Francisco wanting to, kind of slow the pace down. That doesn't work. Kansas City, number one in the NFL in points scored, and they've had the least amount of possessions in a game. They're going to get, you just can't stop them. The only way San Francisco's got a chance in this game is to try to outscore Kansas City, and they could do that with that running game.
Okay, so the bet is first downs
over 22.5,
over
plus
22
110 for Kansas City.
Plus 110 for Kansas City. Like it, Brian. On Twitter at @BLeonardSports, and Teddy on Twitter at @Teddy_covers. What do you got last prop for us?
Well, let's talk about this KC Dinkin, because I was debating as to which one I was going to use, and this one fits right into that same thought process where I believe you that the Chiefs aren't going to, it may not be all chucking downfield. And I certainly think that we're going to see success from San Francisco's edge rushers in this game, that Mahomes is going to be under some pressure. What's quarterback do under pressure? He dumps it off to his running back. Damian Williams, over receptions, over yardage, or receiving yards. I got over 3.5 receptions, over 29.5 receiving yards. I see dump-off passes, and that's what it comes down to. I see the 49ers pressure affecting Kansas City and forcing Mahomes into some dump-offs. 3.5, 29.5, I think are both good numbers.
All right.
The tight ends, neither team is very good against the tight ends. We've got two really good tight ends there.
Arguably the two best tight ends in the NFL.
A lot of these 10 shots over the middle, I like that also.
I like where you guys are going with it. Bryan Leonard on Twitter at @VLeonardSports, WagerTalk.com, and Teddy Covers on Twitter at @Teddy_covers, sportsmemo.com. Guys, don't forget to check out our new show, Bet on It, exclusively on WagerTalk TV.